Hello, world.
Action. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second of two of our Rooted Vermont webinar series. This is a special one because now we've done 5, including last year. This is the first that we're face to face. We can touch each other. We can rub elbows and rub shoulders, which is very helpful and very important because we're going to be cooking something very special. We are here, my friends, with Chef Matthew Accarrino. Now, this webinar is titled the Do It All because Chef Matthew Accarrino has done more than your typical cyclist, chef, do-it-aller, 10-time Michelin Star winner, cyclist of very high repute, a person with zero free time. We thought we would pick some of his brain, take some of his time just minutes before the restaurant opens. We're here at SPQR in San Francisco. Chef, thank you for having us.
Yes, well, welcome to my little postage stamp love letter to Italian cooking with American spirit. And yes, we are reasonably close to service, so it's been a busy day. We're gonna go ahead and make 2 things, both featuring maple syrup. That's
excellent. Okay. I would be honored
while you tickle me with all the questions that you can come up with, which I imagine are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to start by making noise.
Okay.
With butter in this mixer.
Okay.
Do we have Laura King for a second view? No, right?
On the timeline.
Okay. So
wait.
Maple cookie.
Maple cookie. That's what we're making right now.
And I was going to use this one.
That's our lemon tea maple-laden, but then we brought in something literally fresh off the press.
Even more sleekly designed.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the new liquid drink mix, ginger maple-laden. So 3 ingredients in there: maple syrup, real ginger, sea salt.
So for this style of cookie, first thing you do is cream butter.
Okay.
The reason you cream the butter is both to put air into it and then also to get it to warm up a bit. If you were to we're going to put eggs in this eventually. If you put the egg in and the butter's cold,
Coagulation.
Yeah, it separates. It turns into a mess.
Separation.
So, but we actually have a tool that I like to use. So this is.
So all we've done is creamed butter so far.
Yeah, but it's still a little cold. So instead of scraping it down with a spatula, this is my trick. I mean, these torches are like $30. You could do this at home.
I'm gonna say for your at-home chef,
Yeah, why not?
should I get my hairdryer out?
You can do that. That's a good one. Well, this is very cool. Well thought. But so now this is way warmer, right?
Yeah.
A good amount of air into it. Okay. We're gonna add eggs. 2 eggs. I suppose we'll have to put this recipe on your UnTapped.
We will list this recipe, our friends, my friends.
And what else do we got?
Okay.
Gluten-free flour mix.
Gluten-free flour mix. Oh goodness.
Sugar. Maple
Brown?
sugar.
Maple sugar.
You can use brown sugar, but I don't really think this is a brown sugar kind of day.
I encourage everyone to get some maple sugar in your pantry because it is exceptional taste, flavor. You get those nutrients that you're not going to get from a traditional sugar.
Well, what's the deal with maple sugar? There's a thing that always gets added to it. You know, I always see there's an anti-caking agent. I try to get the one without it.
Good
Salt.
idea. Salt.
Pure maple sugar.
Pure maple sugar.
Not
Don't get
anything.
the one with the additives.
Baking soda.
So what I like to see here is typically people will be like, you have like 45 pots and pans, and you got to do your liquid ingredients and your dry ingredients.
No,
You're just going all in.
So baking soda makes the cookies spread.
Leaven.
Not leaven, but wide.
Wide. Okay.
Baking powder.
This is a good example of me. I know like a fraction of what I'm talking about. It does something.
Vanilla.
This looks exceptionally tasty.
Cinnamon. Nutmeg.
Oh, my favorite of the spices.
Ginger.
Ginger in the form of ginger and maple-laden.
We need that in a second.
Yeah.
Quinoa.
What'd you do to your quinoa?
Nothing.
Just straight dry,
Raw.
not cooked quinoa.
Yeah. Pecans.
pecans.
I love a pecan.
I'd like to eat one, please.
Not toasted. Okay, might not be good. Reasonably good.
Perfection.
Okay.
Okay, we're snapping our pecans in half.
You know what I was gonna do? Walnuts is good. Almonds is good. I literally every day eat a waffle with pecans, maple syrup, banana, sea salt
So
for as long as I can remember. I'm just breaking these up a little bit.
So you're proficient in the kitchen is a foolish term to use. You know what you're doing.
Proficient
in the
or trapped?
trapped. A jack of all
Proficiency.
trades. My point is, as a
Drink mix.
soup, lemon, ginger,
You know, drink
maple-laden,
mix. Where do you go
in
buy some? UnTapped.
UnTapped.cc. So that's given in that ginger spice. But here's the question: you're a busy individual. To call a spade a spade. I hope all of our viewers are probably busy individuals.
Self-imposed.
What you've just done is presumably some sort of example of how you're fitting it all in. Like, hey, I gotta make cookies. I got 8 minutes to do it. What are like?
We just did a grasshopper, and I think we made 1,500 cookies or something.
Yeah.
It was maniacal. Not in this mixer, by the way.
1,500 cookies and 1,840.
That's my sous chef Alyssa, who
Hi.
some of you might know.
So I mean, I don't even know how to ask the question. How do you translate that to the real world, the non-professional chef who's trying to fit it all in, to try to cook some cookies and make some meatballs and feed the kids and get their training right? Like, how do you fit it in?
Oh, it all starts here.
Get a sous chef? Go on.
Yes, and it all starts here in your mind. So
Okay.
I mean, it's funny to me that there have been so many similar. I sort of like started out as a cyclist, became a chef, and back to being maybe both or whatever it is. They're not compatible disciplines. Being a chef is standing on your feet, 16 hours, 18 hours, whatever it is,
Underslept.
every day. Underslept. I don't think I've shown up properly slept for a race in any period of time that I can remember.
Okay.
But it requires a level of determination. It requires a level of commitment that is not dissimilar from any real athletic endeavor, pretty much what you've done most of your life. So in that sense, they are compatible. And that is where those two things, I mean, think about being, if you're on a cycling team or you're working with people, you have to be individually excellent.
Mhm.
You have to be able to work as part of a team. This is life in the kitchen. This is also life in sports. So those similarities help out. And then I think for me, the way to fit it all in is kind of a trick, because I sort of have everybody here believing that when I'm off riding my bike, then I'm working.
Yeah.
And I sort of have everybody when I'm riding my bike thinking that somehow I'm doing something important.
So
Like
for
a
example, tail end of
My sous chef laughs.
we're in the tail end of Sea Otter. Very tail end. Sea Otter was last weekend. You were probably juggling 17 different activities amid keeping the restaurant open and riding your bike.
Yeah, it was funny because we had so many different activities. I put the flour in now. We're going to just mix
Flour.
it. And we're done. Okay, and this gluten-free flour is a mix of sorghum, brown rice, tapioca. Okay, done.
GFs.
Yeah, I think when I was loading my car for Sea Otter and I had to take everything down there, we packed it by events.
Yeah.
So that I could, and we had it all figured out. So we just had one big cooler.
Yeah.
That everything had needed to be put into a refrigerator when we got there, and then each event we literally just unpacked as we went. But it's like that's the mental game. It's all about the mental game, and the mental game. Again, going back to the similarities aspect, it's all about visualization, which is something that happens in sports. If you can't see yourself winning, you're probably not going to win. And I spend all day talking to my staff here in the restaurant about time management, efficiency.
So how about we're going to go off screen for a second. Alyssa, were you at Sea Otter?
Yes.
One word, how was Sea Otter?
Amazing.
Amazing. Great answer.
It's good.
And what did we do?
Experience, so what did we do?
Chaotic.
Crushed it.
Crushed it.
We woke
cooked
up,
every night.
cooked every night. He got up and made pancakes every morning for everyone.
Yeah.
And I made the coffee.
Yeah.
And then we started our day, packed the car, got there, did some things. He showed me around, introduced me to some new people.
Yeah.
And then we cooked dinner, cooked lunch,
Photo shoots.
photo shoots. Yeah. I got
We went from thing to thing to thing to thing.
I got some practice taking photos too. That was kind of fun.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, you know this one.
Well
go,
done.
Go up the hill behind the car, and they're like going, 20, and they tell you to speed up.
Right.
Yeah, it's like,
Make it look like you're attacking. Be like,
Get
stop
close-
dropping me.
yeah.
You're in a vehicle.
yeah, we're going 20 miles an hour uphill. I realize that I'm drafting you, but it's still hard.
Okay.
Okay, cookies.
Cookies.
When I went to
Cookie dough.
culinary school,
Yep.
they showed us how to mix pie dough. You ever made pie dough before?
I've made so many pies in my life. True story. I've made about 2 crusts in my life. No. Pie dough is
Okay.
very hard.
So pie crust, you make the pie crust, then you have to chill it.
Right.
So the instructor that we had in culinary school said, if you have to wait to chill the dough, somebody else will be doing it before you. You don't have time. I'm going to show you how to do it without needing to chill it and proceeding to show us that. But the life lesson was, you don't have time. Figure it out.
Timely message.
So hot water, scoop.
Yeah.
I'm not going to chill this cookie dough. I'm going to just scoop it.
So the trick being the hot water and the cookies.
Yeah, because a lot of people
Ice
would
cream
chill the
scoop.
cookie dough and then come back and try to
Yeah.
scoop it, roll it in balls. No.
Look at that.
Okay. And then the hot water helps this release.
It's almost like you need the temperature differentiation from a room temperature to cold dough is comparable to room temperature dough to hot scooper.
See, you could be a chef. Jeez.
This is real.
You lost me halfway through that.
Thank you. I'm a temperature differentiator.
There you
Well, goodness me. Okay, so let's talk the you're making it because you want your appetite lights new and you know it's going into it. Tell me about your philosophies on higher level nutrition, cooking, fueling a busy day and fueling a bike ride.
Well, as you well know, I am a maple fanatic.
Accurate.
And why would that be? Natural sugars are the best sugars. Natural food's the best food. If, as many athletes know, you put some in your body,
Mhm.
and your body has to do extra work to break down complex, basically manufactured compounds,
Yes.
whether that's preservatives or whatever else it is, then aren't you robbing your body of that energy that it would otherwise produce in watts to keep up with whoever you're trying to keep up with?
Remarkably simple.
So
Yes.
that seems a simple linear equation for me, and so I've always just gravitated towards making my own ride food or using products that are more simply made. And everyone talks about their stomach issues or gut issues with drink mixes or different bars or whatever it is. And it's like I sort of just like put the blinker on, went around all that stuff, and for the most part, either try to eat really really simple things or just make it myself.
Super cool. And proof in the pudding, not just cooking for himself, not just cooking for a 10-time Michelin Star restaurant. You are team chef at UnTapped. You
Yes.
cook for cycling events seemingly every weekend throughout the year.
Yeah.
Like your customer is the customer who's going to walk through the door as much as it is the customer who is a cyclist, like athlete, the go-getter, the people who really appreciate the food that's going down their gullet.
Well, and that's been
Goodness great.
oven. So we actually took some of the took some of the waffles, chopped them up, and put them into the cookies just in case. But actually, and that is something that's been on my mind about some of these longer events, which is how to get enough calories in, because I'm not good at eating or drinking consistently.
Mhm.
I'm too busy probably trying to keep up or do whatever it is. But I always laugh when we're like climbing King Ridge. And I turn and I look, and you'd be somebody who would be eating.
Yeah.
And I'm choking. So I try to make everything that I make more nutrient dense, which is why I was bugging you about wanting like a bigger size of maple syrup, because when I eat, I'd rather just take in more calories. So I do things when I'm making cycling food where we like added the quinoa to this, we added the nuts to this, I added the coffee waffles to this, and then one thing I like to do, we did this in our old food processor, but it's and this will be part of the recipe, but it's dried apples, a little bit of coconut oil, maple syrup, cinnamon, nutmeg, salt.
But those are 6 ingredients that I have in my house right now.
There you go. So this is the enlightened equivalent of Oreo filling,
Goodness.
which is really, I don't know if everyone knows what Oreo filling is, but it's
Think a lot of-
shortening and sugar.
Hydrogenation.
So, which is all fat, doesn't have anything to do with it to help you. So
just want to take a spoonful of that.
Yeah. This basically just becomes like maple. You don't really taste the apple.
Yeah.
It becomes like maple icing. And so it took me a while to figure out how to do this the right way, which is to say that I now would make a sandwich out of this.
Yeah.
And here's my cookie. It sets up.
Double caloric.
Tomorrow,
nutrients.
when I put this in my jersey pocket and it gets real hot,
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
This isn't going to melt. So it'll stay, as opposed to everything else that becomes messy. So this actually still works for on the bike.
That's
which
bananas.
but by the time you're doing that, it's like you like maple, gluten-free, quinoa, some nuts, sure, and there's like basically, let's face it, icing is all sugar.
Yeah.
All sugar is all carbs is all what you need. So
The fuel, the benzina.
yeah, and so then I can make those, and typically I'll make big batches of things like this, and then have this available for my riding through my weekend, which right now is
That'll be another tip.
Yeah.
Presumably, I mean, like front
Batch
load your
cook.
cooking, batch cook, go big.
well, yeah, or make this.
Yeah.
And so what we do, I mean, so if you come in, and actually we'll use some of these tonight. If you come to SPQR and it's your birthday, we'll always have something to give you. So maybe tonight, if it was your birthday, you're gonna get this cookie sandwich at the end. Maybe we'll give this to go. This one.
My birthday.
Super cool.
Yeah.
It's everyone's birthday.
Yeah, it's everyone's birthday. Well, it's like everyone. So everyone comes to a restaurant, but a restaurant like this, it's like almost every person coming here is This is a special occasion restaurant for many people. So
I have
we wanna
celebrated
do
many a
something-
birthday here. Well, at
Yeah.
least one, mine and Laura's.
And so every day the staff come in and we actually lay out cards, and the entire staff sign cards for those people. So that
Remarkable.
from dishwashers to waiters to cooks to chefs to managers, that everyone, because we actually care that you're here. And so to do that, we'll make something like this. But which is to say that you could make this, scoop it, freeze it,
Mhm.
leave it in your freezer in a Ziploc bag, and then when you're ready to make cookies, just take them out, put them on the tray, put them in the oven.
It's that
So,
forward thinking.
That's
that I
that
like.
batch cooking, yeah, and that's that whole like logic trading of I prep that way at home, I prep that way here. I mean, that's how a restaurant works. And so those are all the things that dovetail about nutritional cooking.
Yeah.
Go get good ingredients. Go to the farmer's market. Go to your local natural grocer. Get all the things that you need.
Mhm.
Cook in batches.
Mhm. Care about what you're consuming.
Which leads me to another recipe that I'd like to call your attention
And I'm going to interrupt you because having said all that special stuff about being here for one's birthday, having celebrated our birthday here, we are here at, again, this is a reminder, SPQR in San Francisco, Fillmore Street. Get online to SPQRSF.com.
SF.com.
Make a reservation. Come in here. See Chef Matthew Accarrino. See the team. Come for a birthday. Tell them it's your birthday, even if it's not.
Yeah, we don't care.
You get a card.
Just put a note in your reservation.
Can you
says,
remember that
I want a
for your
fresh
next birthday?
cookie.
All right, next up. What are we cooking here?
Next up, we got an induction burner, which is electricity.
Electric,
Magic.
hot. So pretend you're on your stove or just your go-to induction burner.
I would call this Tour of the Gila chicken. So you mentioned me cooking for HinCap. In addition to doing that, I cooked for Tour of Utah, which is an interesting one. That's basically I tried to browbeat the hotels the riders stayed at into making better food, which Bijou would well know too, because I think he did it for Tour California more than once. But it looks a little bit like flying into, I think it's Tucson. You fly into Tucson,
Yep.
then you drive to Silver City, New Mexico.
Yep.
And I would typically get there at midnight,
Mm-hmm.
and then need to produce breakfast at 6 a.m. or something.
Bananas. Yeah.
So the only
sounds right.
place open is a big box store.
Okay.
So you're going into a big box store that's not necessarily a bastion of great ingredients around 12 or 1 in the morning and looking to find something that's reasonably good.
Okay.
So this recipe is a cabbage salad, which cabbage is one of the things you can find just about anywhere.
Yep.
It's a good vegetable like broccoli, completely inexpensive. Full of nutrition, full of water,
Mm-hmm.
good for your digestion.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to make a maple soy vinaigrette. And then,
As you do.
as you do, we're going to bread some chicken. And we're going to bread it in. Where's that bag?
The
Unless-
horses?
Yeah.
Right
Did
here.
it disappear? It should
No, I
disappear.
got it.
Here it comes.
It's a special bag.
It's a special bag.
Oh, yeah.
This is the real cornflakes.
Brilliant.
Brilliant.
This is box store shopping at its finest.
It is. But if you look at this ingredient, or this as an ingredient, it's reasonably good.
It's probably simple. There's probably corn, a little flour, a little sugar, a little
flour.
salt. Really?
Yeah. Malt, corn.
Alright.
I think there's honey in this one.
Nice.
Sadly, not maple. Maple cornflakes isn't the thing. But there, yeah, it's like a 5-ingredient. If you're careful and you look at the package, you can find like a 5-ingredient cornflake.
Love it.
So if you look at that, it's better than most breadcrumbs,
Okay.
frankly. And if
Makes
so,
sense.
and then cooking for riders, of course, how many riders are? I basically assume everyone's gluten free at this point. That's kind of become my default position, only because
Safe.
yeah, it's about the only way to go. So these are good too. This is how you turn it into, right? So we would do that. I won't annoy you with that sound anymore. We took some, we crunched it all up,
Okay.
and turned it into so a good one for this. We add almonds or hazelnuts or something to this, so you sort of have this breading mixture.
Nice.
Okay, we got some eggs,
Whip up some eggs.
cornstarch. You can use flour,
Cornstarch.
but if you're trying to keep it to the gluten-free situation,
Okay.
my suggestion would be use cornstarch.
Starch of 1 quart.
Starch of 1 quart. So
Okay. Oil onto the induction cooker. Put your oil on your stove.
perfect. We're gonna heat it up.
Heat it up real nice.
Okay, we're gonna take our chicken, season it, cornstarch.
Cornstarch first.
Okay, wet hand.
Wet hand.
Okay, dry hand.
2 hands. 1 wet is 1 dry.
Okay, otherwise you bread your hand.
Contaminate your, yeah.
I've seen it.
Wet hand continues into the wet egg.
Then we like to use something like this. We're gonna drain it for a second. Then I take dry hand.
Yep.
There you go. Yeah, dry hand. Move to cornflake mix.
Okay. Oh yeah, that is that's the
Turn
ticket.
down. And yeah, we did a few ahead of time.
Made a few ahead of
There we
time.
go,
The magic
magic.
of live cooking. That's good. That's good. This is awesome. So you got your 4-ingredient chicken, cornstarch.
Yeah, and you know who doesn't love a chicken cutlet? Yes or no?
This is amazing.
Okay. Okay.
We'll start cooking these.
Cook it up real nice.
Okay.
Roughly how long are you cooking these?
So they're golden brown on one side.
Golden
We're
brown.
gonna flip them. Do a little chef stuff where we add some thyme and butter.
Okay. This is remarkable, my friends.
Okay. Where's our salad? Here. Here it is.
Oh wow.
Okay. Here's said cabbage, right? So this, you guys have seen this kind of stuff before. Red cabbage, Napa cabbage, green
Super simple.
cabbage. And you think about it when you go into the, like if I go to my local natural grocer, it could be like a Whole Foods, right? And there's like heirloom tomatoes or $7 a pound.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so if I'm shopping for a race team that has a limited budget, or a human being that has a limited budget, because I think we all have that.
Yep.
And I'm looking. It doesn't like it when you move that.
Yeah.
That's the only issue.
Back on.
So if you're looking for ingredients that are of exceptional quality, like radishes, but that somehow the market has never seemed to price as something expensive. right?
Correct.
Carrots, a bag of carrots is a few dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Radishes, cabbage,
Carrot
carrots.
is so good. It's got that like peppery spice.
Then we have
That's why coleslaw is so dang good.
some toasted green pumpkin seeds. Right.
Okay.
So these come from a type of hulless pumpkin where it's literally grown to not have. If you've ever had that tough exterior in a pumpkin seed,
Yeah.
right? These types of pumpkins are grown to not have that.
No tough
Delicious.
exterior.
But not a nut.
Not enough.
So people have nut allergies. If I left nuts out of the crust, we're
Not
good.
free.
Yeah. So as you can tell, there's
Those
a
are
lot
delicious.
of thoughts about allergies here. Okay.
Wise.
Now we're gonna take these. See how we're doing?
Cutlet them.
Looking good.
A nice golden brown.
Cornflake's good for that.
Oh, look at that one. That one's like the goldenest. That looks amazing.
We turn them over. Okay, I made a vinaigrette with. I'll spare you the blender, maybe.
We got the bulk. We got the big dog. I don't know if you can tell, but that is a proper gallon of maple. It is proper.
So we'll take whole cloves of garlic like this.
Oh my
Peel 'em.
gosh, that looks so good.
Put them in olive oil.
Yeah.
Put them in a pot.
Yeah.
Bring it up to a simmer. You'll see it actually simmer because there's enough water in the garlic.
Okay.
Put some salt in there. Put a lid on it, and then we leave it over a pilot light. You could put it in a 200-degree oven.
Yeah.
And just leave that. The oil is delicious. The garlic cloves are soft and mellow. They go in vinaigrettes. You can rub it on meat, tofu, toast, whatever it is. It's basically garlic
Roasted
candy.
garlic in olive oil. Sounds extraordinary.
So I've got some balsamic vinegar, some soy sauce, some
Mm-hmm.
maple syrup,
Mm-hmm.
Dijon mustard, oil. Put it all in the blender. I would say add the oil last.
Okay.
Usually works out better that way. Then we put it in our monster blender.
Whoa. Whoa.
What we got?
So if you're doing something like that, are you doing it? Are you eyeing it? Are you like, okay, I want to know approximately this ratio? Is it 1-to-1 across the board with like the maple and the soy and the balsamic and the?
So treat the vinegar like you're 1 part.
Okay.
Treat oil like 3 parts.
Okay.
And consider everything else seasoning. So the amount of
Okay.
maple syrup is enough to make it sweet. The amount of soy sauce is enough to act as salt, as opposed to right. So we've got butter in here now.
You heard
Thyme,
it here first.
fresh herbs. The way to get the most flavor into your food is spices, which have 0 calories.
Accurate.
Right? And fresh herbs, which have tons of flavor, but also essentially 0 calories, and you don't eat most of them. So you wouldn't eat the thyme sprig, but I mean you could.
You could.
We actually once had a friend of mine who's also a cyclist makes a cheese in Point Reyes.
Yeah.
And the cheese is called quinta, and it's wrapped in cherry bark.
Okay.
Okay. And then it's allowed to grow a white bloomy mold like a brie over it.
Delicious.
Okay.
Okay.
Then the idea is that you cut the top off the cheese, and you eat the soft cheese inside.
Yeah.
To which the bark is contained.
Okay.
When we're testing cheese, brought it here, and my cooks were eating it. And a cook that used to work for us said, "Oh, the cheese is kind of tough." Did you eat the whole thing? You did it too.
That
That's
moldy
tree bark.
rind is like it's got some toothsome to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a cleansing cheese.
Little salt up in your cabbage
Yeah.
business.
So salt, you can put it in a little bit ahead of time.
Yeah.
Work it through the cabbage. That'll soften it up a little bit.
And you,
like you would a
you
kale
do have a
salad.
very rough cut there, a crude cut.
Yeah, fruit cut is good.
That's good in these.
Okay, we're gonna put a little vinaigrette on here.
Ay, ay, ay.
Got some cilantro for me? How about that?
Cilantro up in there.
Commanding, Alyssa. Oh, there she is.
Boom. Cilantro on command.
There you go. Cilantro is another one of those readily available herbs you find in almost every store. Oftentimes you're looking for something like tarragon or dill or basil. You might not find it, but for some reason,
So
cilantro
folks,
is
be
everywhere.
adventuresome. If you've never cooked with tarragon, go buy some tarragon. It's
Yeah,
always
why
going to cost you $1.99. Put it in something. If you like it, great. If you don't, you're $1.99 out. And then Google some recipe that I'm sure you would like, and you're back to
Okay. Cornflake chicken looking good.
Ay, ay, ay.
Thyme is flavor, butter is flavor. Most of this butter and oil that we put in here is not going to stay because we're going to drain it
Drain
on
it.
some absorbent toweling.
Absorbent towelette. Very
Yeah.
nice.
Many absorbent towels,
Downy.
any kind. No sponsorships,
Okay.
not yet, unless Downey wants to sponsor us.
Downy, come up.
Okay, so, and then I'm just gonna feel, a lot of people always ask me, like, how do you know when steak is done? How do you know when chicken is done? How do you know when anything's done? So if you see that I'm pressing on here
Yes.
and it's reasonably firm,
Yes.
okay, and then here it's even more firm,
Yes.
but here it's a little soft.
That's soft.
Yeah, so
That soft means not cooked.
you're good. Okay, but good cooking is all about sights. I mean, you can smell
Mm-hmm.
everything that's happening here, right? You can see, you can hear.
A lot of action happening.
You use all of your senses.
Someone wants to know if maple syrup is water soluble.
Water soluble? Very.
Is it Jim Merrithew? The question is maple syrup water soluble. It is, so that as you're cleaning, as you're riding, as you're using it, it just cleans up real nice. You don't even need a soapy mixture to clean it up.
No, I actually made the mistake of leaving an UnTapped packet in my burrito bag,
Okay?
and then I rode long enough. That
Burrito bag, handlebar bag.
Yeah, something in there.
Yeah.
Sadly, ruptured my packet, and I went in there to get something, and I was like, "What is all this?"
Yeah.
Oh, it's maple syrup. And I literally went. Remember, I was about to ride that day. I literally went in the kitchen and rinsed it
Yeah.
all off. In
Water
30
soluble.
seconds, rinsed the bag out, which was actually reasonably waterproof anyway. And
Heard it here first. I got one for you. The other day I went for a massive ride, and I knew that I wouldn't have any place to refill throughout the ride, so I dropped 2 water bottles a couple miles in. And then when I came back a few hours later, my water bottle was overcome with ants because I had spilled said water-soluble maple syrup all over my bottle like a dum-dum and didn't clean it up beforehand.
but the ants were happy.
The ants were very happy. That's the take-home message. And then I rinsed them right off and continued on my ride. This is great. This is fun. I feel like I should cook more often. I'm kidding. I do cook a lot, but I've never cooked in the company of such accolade as this. This is
A little more salt on everything. People always say that chefs put a lot of salt.
Yeah. I've honestly never heard that. Well,
Really?
No, because I mean, chef, if the food tastes good, and
I don't know.
if you're doing
I figure I sweat it all out.
exactly good active life, like you're gonna be using those electrolytes, sea salt, right? You know what's in this lemon tea, maple-laden, maple syrup, lemons, black tea, and sea salt. Sea salt. It's good for you. Use the salt, folks.
Okay, so we're about done here. Shut down our little burner situation.
Burner off.
Okay, you could put
More pepitas.
more pepitas, crumbled feta cheese, Parmesan, herbs, basil, cilantro. Do we have any more cilantro?
Oh, look at that. Golden brown and ready to party.
Good, no?
Amazing. Amazing.
We'll post these recipes to the Rooted Vermont website.
We will post these recipes to the Rooted Vermont website
There you are. Oh, look at this.
and or somewhere else. Maybe down below. Right there will be the recipe-ish.
Okay, if you're feeling zesty, I don't know, drizzle maple syrup on it.
Chicken and waffles enhanced by maple.
Yeah.
Chicken and cabbage enhanced by maple. Don't forget, that is a maple vinaigrette we got going on there.
And that's a good one. And that's the other thing too is, talking about like pre-prepping.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Turn this thing out of here.
Oh my goodness.
Make stuff like vinaigrettes
Yes.
ahead of time. Put them in a mason jar. Put them in your refrigerator.
Okay.
Don't buy salad dressing. Salad dressing. Okay. There's another. I could share this trick with this trick.
Tricks of the trade.
Tricks of the trade. We have something called xanthan gum. It's very readily available. You get on Amazon. So whenever this hits, this is made by a byproduct of bacteria. It's not, to me, a bad food additive. What you're adding is negligible. It's a small amount. But if you're making a vinaigrette, and I were to put, so if you've ever looked at low-fat salad dressing,
Okay. First
it's
ingredient.
like water. Correct. So you take vinegar and put it in a blender. Add it to the vinegar to replace some of the oil. Use this. Turn it on. It gets a certain viscosity, right? You can put Dijon mustard. You can put whatever else you want to put in.
Okay.
You can make a pear and pink peppercorn vinaigrette. Put whole slices of pear in there and blend it all up in that.
Okay.
With white wine vinegar. Add a little maple syrup to it. Put some pink peppercorns in there.
I hope you're getting inspired by listening to this. This is just so
But the
creative.
idea is use less oil and better oil. Okay,
Okay.
so better olive oil, citrus infused olive oil, something like that. Change it up. But we call it water vinaigrette.
Okay.
But you're lowering the fat content. So for all the athletes that want to eat less fat overall, you certainly could do that. Make it ahead of time.
Little pinch of
Yeah,
xanthan.
a little pinch goes a long way.
Okay.
And all it does is really change the viscosity in food. So that's a good one. I got one more little trick too.
Hey,
We had the maple and soy sauce out.
Oh,
I took some shiitake
yeah.
mushrooms. That's a reasonably available mushroom. You can find them just about any grocery store anywhere.
Mhm.
We took some maple syrup, some soy sauce,
Mhm.
a little bit of black pepper.
Mhm.
Yeah, here we go. Okay, we foiled the tray because it gets kind of reduced, syrupy.
Yes. You
Okay.
should do bake it.
Yeah, put it like this. Put a little olive oil, put
This
it in
one
the
has
oven,
the best
Yeah.
handle.
and it gets all caramelized and delicious. Pretty good.
That's extraordinary.
So then we could put these on our salad as another
This
thing
is
to
going
make.
straight to Laura.
But this is the kind of simple stuff that makes a lot of
it's
flavor
gross,
happen
dude.
in a small package. With this is 3 or 4 ingredients. So and this is something you can make ahead of time and pack all these up, and it's delicious. So save this, drizzle it in your vinaigrette. The other thing is making stuff like
Oh look,
pesto. Right, pesto is a great idea.
love
So,
pesto.
Pesto could be made from basil, could be made from
Green peas.
tarragon, green peas, roasted beets,
Mhm.
mushrooms. All pesto means is pounded or pulverized. So puree.
Mhm.
Take some like that, put cheese in it. Don't use almonds, use pine nuts, use walnuts, use pecans, use maple syrup, use whatever you want.
Love it.
Make that thing, put it in an ice cube tray. Big trick, don't use the same ice cube tray for the pesto that you use for water.
Smart.
Or your water, well, if you want flavored water. It's
Pesto water.
new,
Yeah, cucumber water. Why not?
new bubbly water for you.
You can freeze
But
it.
I have 2 ice cube trays, one for ice,
Yeah.
one for that kind of stuff. Once it's frozen,
Yeah.
pop it out, put it in a little Ziploc bag.
Yeah.
Make pasta, make whatever you want. Just
Go
open up the
sauce.
thing, put it in there. So,
Freeze your pesto. Make it ahead of time.
so if you come to my house, I have
Be like Chef Matthew.
pestos and sauces in the freezer like that. I have vinaigrettes and things in jars in the refrigerator. I have
Are there
like
particular
these
sauces?
mushrooms will keep for a week.
Not near me. They might be gone in the next 5 minutes.
Cook in batches.
Oh, the big one.
And then use stuff like rice cookers and slow cookers that require no attendance from you. So if I come home and I put up rice, hit
Mhm.
start, have these chicken cutlets that I made. If I'm making this, I made 3. I would make 30. Well, maybe not that many. 10.
Freeze them.
Maybe not freeze, but put them in the fridge. They won't last
Fridge
that
'em.
long. Fridge them. You can freeze them, I guess. But batch cook, have that stuff ahead of time, and then have this for sandwiches tomorrow.
I love that foresight.
So, but again, it goes back to this whole idea of economizing your time, economizing what you're doing, being thoughtful about what you're buying, and then forming your own judgments about like cabbage is a great, all these things that we made the salad out of are like basically the same quality as some of the vegetables that are very expensive and very out of season at times. And cabbage is one of those perennial things that for the most part is around all the time from a reasonably local source, pretty good supply.
Sheesh.
So it's like a potato. It's another.
Potatoes.
Maple
I like
potato.
it. I mean, it's so, everything you're saying is simple. It makes sense. It's intuitive. It takes an iota of thought, put it together, and say, okay, that is an intuitive piece of insight. But then, like, putting that to work.
And I realized that's my life perspective. I mean, when I was a kid, I had a bone tumor in my right leg and lost a portion of my leg that needed to be basically put back together, a la your elbow and other parts of your body. But I didn't walk for a couple of years, and that's how I ended up becoming a chef and not, thankfully, becoming a pro cyclist because I think that would be too hard. But it also gave me the thought that you need to make the most of the day that you're in. Seize the day. When, as we've seen in many cases, I'm sure all of us in our lives, things can go sideways in a heartbeat. So that mentality of just getting through everything I'm doing and trying to get the maximum amount of joy in the time that I have. So I pretty much walk around with a smile on my face all day long because I'm doing exactly what I want to do, exactly how I want to do it.
This guy is a heck of a lot of fun to sit here and watch him cook and then enjoy the fruits of his labor. He's a fun wheel to ride next to, in front of, behind, get chased up hills. You're a man of many talents, chef.
Appreciate it.
For the sake of opening your restaurant on time
Yeah, there's already people standing outside.
There is a line outside. We've had to remove your staff from behind us so as to get great acoustics for this exceptional video.
And the hood's been off. So it's about 120
Yeah.
degrees in here.
The humidity is picking up.
It is picking up. Cheers.
High five. That was awesome. Thank you
you.
so much.
Thanks, everybody.
That's all there is to it. All right. Recipes down below. Find Matthew at Matt Accarrino on the Instagram.
Yeah.
At SPQRSF.
Yes.
Find us on Fillmore Street. Find us on bike rides. What else?
Find us at the Mill District tomorrow.
Mill District. We're going to go for a bike ride tomorrow, and he's going to be cooking up a feast.
Next week, I'll be cooking for a VIP dinner before Levi's Grand Fondo. See everybody there. And actually, you know, in closing, it's been very, very nice for me to have things come full circle where my friends that, you know, you guys are dining here tonight after this. Surprise. So you're able to see your friends and to share that hospitality with them. And I've had a couple people message me because they're all coming into town for Levi's to do that ride.
Yeah.
And I got people coming here. I mean, some guy was making a reservation for 8 o'clock the night before.
Ooh, yes.
And I was like, aren't we riding at 6:30 in the morning? Like,
Yeah.
I don't even want to be here then.
Right.
Right. So
He's like, it's great.
yeah. And then I think he must have realized better. He's like, what about 6? But it's nice to see those worlds connect in that way. And it's nice to be able to go and do something, ride bikes with people, and then have that reconnect back in my daily job and professional world and be able to share that. So cheers to everybody.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Outstanding. Catch you on the internet.